Hi guys, welcome to the channel. This is David from Java Made Easy. We're going to be working actually this time in the insertion sort. So let me get the compiler going here. Okay, insertion sort. They call it insertion sort because let me turn the volume on the music. Maybe that's too loud. There we go. I think that's a little bit better. Okay, they call it insertion sort because we're going to be inserting the values that are unsorted into a place that is actually sorted. What do I mean by that? Okay, let's see. If you guys take a look at these numbers right here, so let's say that this is an array. Okay, insertion sort is actually good when you have data that is almost sorted, not completely sorted, but you have some items that are sorted. It's gonna run perfectly if most of the data is already sorted, and this one runs faster than bubble sort, like maybe twice faster, unless there's no sorted data at all, and it also runs faster than the selection sort. So this one, as I said, it's good, when you have data that is almost sorted. And how does it work? Okay, imagine that we have the data in here, and we're gonna have an imaginary marker. So let's say that suddenly I just go and pick a marker right here. Let's say number 3. Let's suppose the data to the left is already sorted in the right order. Okay, so I'm gonna put a marker in here. The data to the left is already sorted, oops, in order, and the data to the right and the data to the right is sorted. So we're gonna be taking the data to the right that is not sorted, and we're gonna be inserting these values into the sorted array to the left. So let's imagine that we have two different arrays. The one to the left is sorted, and the one to the right is unsorted. So this one in the middle is going to be a marker that we're going to be using to make a space for the shifting of the items, and also to move it into the right position. Okay, now what do I mean by that? Okay, so let's say that my marker is the number 3. I'm going to take the number 3. Well, first of all, if the data to the left is already sorted, okay, and I want to insert one item from the unsorted section into the sorted place, there's no space for me to insert a value here. Okay, so there's no place. So what do I need to do? I need to remove the marker, so we need to get rid of the marker. Okay, so I'm going to remove the marker, and that's going to give me some space to be able to shift the items from the sorted side to the right and start sorting. Okay, so now that we have that space available to be able to move the items on the left side that are sorted, excuse me, we are going to be taking the marker. I'm going to put it right here underneath, right there. So now it's on the bottom. Okay, so we took the marker out. we have a space right here to be able to shift the sorted items to the right, and then I'm going to compare the marker with the first with the last item, like moving to the left in the sorted array, and I'm going to be asking, hey, are you taller than me? Are you bigger than me? Okay, so I'm going to be comparing the marker item with the last item in the sorted array, and I'm going to ask, hey, are you bigger than me? Okay, you are. Then I'm going to move you to the right. So I'm going to move this guy to the right here, and I'm going to delete this guy. Now I have the space is moving to the left, and then I'm going to do the same thing. Hey guy, are you bigger than me? And if he is, then I'm going to move this guy out, and I'm going to shift it to the right, and then I'm going to keep on doing that. Are you bigger than me? It is bigger than me, so I'm going to be taking this guy out, and I'm going to put it right there, and the space is going to be here. Then I'm going to get to this side, and then I'm going to ask, hey, are you bigger than me? And the guy is not. So now I found the place to insert the marker. So once again, insertion sort has two sections: a sorted part, which is to the left, and an unsorted part that is to the right. So let's do it all over again. So let's say that my marker is right here. So this is my marker. The data to the left is sorted, and the data to the right is unsorted. Okay, so I'm going to be taking the marker out to make a space for the sorted section to be moved to the right. So I'm going to take it out, and then I'm going to be comparing my marker with the sorted data. It started with the last item. Hey guy, are you bigger than me? You bigger than me? Then you move to the right. Okay, then I moved to the left, so that's important to see. So once I compare the first item, what do? I move to the left. So I'm moving to the left, and then I'm gonna be asking this guy, hey, are you bigger than me? You are. I'm gonna move you to the right. Okay, and then I'm gonna be asking the same thing to all the items until I find a guy that is smaller than me, and because he's smaller than me, the space is going to be right there, and that means that I found the place to insert my marker. So okay, let's start. So what do we need? We need, first of all, let me make a method. Oops, not private. Make it public void, and let's call it insertion sort. Okay, now this guy is gonna take a array, an int array, and we're gonna call it noms2. Let's not get confused with the global variable that I have on top in here with this local variable right there. Okay, now what do we need? We actually need two loops. We're gonna need an outer loop, and then we're gonna need an inner loop. Well, this is not the inner loop. We're just gonna be using that one. Okay, so let me start with a for loop. So let's make a for loop, and that's gonna be out equals 1, and while out is lesser than noms dot length, then we're gonna increment out. Okay, now we have a basic loop in here, and what are we gonna be doing? Well, let's take a look at the loop first of all. Okay, why am I starting at 1? Okay, so we're gonna be looping through the items, but I'm starting in index 1. I'm not starting in index 0. Why? Because the insertion sort works with two different sections. The section that is sorted to the left and an unsorted section to the right there. So if I start at index 1, I know that the data to the left is already sorted. Why? Because it's only one item, there's no other items, so it's gotta be sorted. It's only one number. It's number 3, 10, 15, 1000, it doesn't matter. It's just one number, so that number is already sorted. So index 1, then actually, oops, what am I doing here? Index 1, then is the marker. What am I doing here? What the heck am I doing in this thing? Okay, let's see. So index 1, it's gonna be the marker. Okay, now what did we say that we need to do with the marker? We need to take the marker out. So because we don't want to lose, we need to take the marker out so we can make a space for the shifting, but we don't want to lose the value of the marker, which is in index 1. So we're going to save that value in a temp variable. So the first thing that I do, I take the marker out. So let's put it here. Sorry guys, I don't know what's going on with my fingers today. So let's see, taking the marker out. Taking the marker out to make a space for the shifting of the sorted data. Okay. I'm gonna move this to the left. Okay, there we go. So the first thing that we have is a temp variable to hold the value of the marker, because we need to take the marker out to be able to have one space to be able to move the sorted data to the right. Okay, the second thing that we need to find the place where we're gonna be starting to do the shifting. So that's what in is for. So in is gonna equal out, which is 1. So there we go. Okay, now after we took the marker out, and now we have that space for the shifting, what do we say that we need to do? Okay, we need to start comparing the marker to the items on the left. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. We're gonna create a while loop. Okay, while in is greater than 0, and okay, nums. Oops, I'm not having a good time typing this time. Okay, and while. Okay, I'll explain it in a second. This is gonna be greater or equal to the TMP. Okay, what are we doing right here? Let's see. Okay, we said that we needed to compare our marker. We know that we kept the marker in a temp variable. We're gonna be asking these guys, you know, let's our marker in this case was number 3 before we inserted right there. So we took the marker out, the marker is gone, and then we're gonna be asking, hey, the data to the left. So that's gonna be in the value of in right now, it's 1, which is the marker. Okay, so that's the place where the marker was. So out equals to 1, that's a marker. So we're going to start shifting in. So I'm moving to the left. We said that we were going to start working on the sorted data with the last item. So if the marker was in index 1, that means that if I move just one position to the left, then I'm going to get the highest value in the sorted part of the array. So I'm going to be asking, hey guy, are you greater or equal than me? If the guy is greater, what do we say that we were going to do? We're actually going to move to the right. So that's going to be nums in, it's going to equal nums in minus 1. Okay, so that means that we're shifting the number that is to the left to the right, because this is index 1. That's the place where we have the marker. Now in that place we took the marker out, which is in the temp variable, so that space is available. Okay, so this is our space that is available. That's where the marker was. As we see that the marker was in index 1, and in is equal to out, which is number 1, so the space is in index 1 right now. So we're gonna be shifting the number to index 1. So this is the number that was to the left. At that number that is gonna left, I'm gonna be shifting that guy to the right. Okay, now what do we do after that? Okay, well, if the guy was bigger, than our marker, we moved it to the right. So we already moved to the right. Now what do we do next? Okay, next we need to compare our marker with the second highest number. So we need to move to the left. So that means that I'm gonna move to the left. So let's go ahead and move to the left, and that's it. Okay, now this while loop is gonna be checking all the values in here. Okay, hey guy, are you bigger than me? Hey guy, are you bigger than me? Because it's moving to the left. So we're asking, are you bigger or equal than me? Okay, you are. Then you move to the right. So this is the shifting. Okay, and once we do the shifting, we move to the left, and we keep on asking. Okay, when we find a guy, a number that is not bigger than the marker, what do we do? So we found a number that doesn't meet this criteria, then we found the place for our marker. Okay, but the marker is gone, we took it out. Oh yeah, but we put it in a temp variable. So there we go. So we found our place, and we put it the marker in the right place. Okay, and then it just keeps on going. It keeps on going. So let's go ahead and test this code. So let me make a object. So we're gonna make a insertion sort object insertion sort equals new insertion sort. Okay, then we want to call the the insertion sort method, and we're going to send the array. Okay, and then we want to print the data. Let's make sure if this thing works. System dot out dot print line. I hope this video was not too long. Okay, an easy way, guys, as I said before, to print an array, the toString method is pretty good. And then we're gonna send the array in there. So there we go. And then we're gonna print the data, and we're gonna run this piece of code. Okay, so let's see. Let me make sure we have. Well, let's run it first. So we're gonna run the data. Let's hope this thing works. There we go. We have the array and it's been sorted. So let me just recap once again. So let me just move this a little bit to the left. Okay, once again, insertion sort. They call it insertion sort because you are inserting data that is not sorted into the sorted section. Now, insertion sort is good for data that is almost sorted but not complete sorted, and it has two parts. It has a sorted section and it has a unsorted section. So if I go back to my example, I'm gonna excuse me. Okay, let's take a look in here once again. It has two sections, a section to the left that is sorted data, and the section to the right that is unsorted. Then we take the items on the right and we're going to insert those items into the sorted section. But as we said, if this data is sorted, we cannot move or shift these items to the right because there's no space. So what did we do? So we took the marker out. So the marker is out. So we take the marker out. So the marker is out, and because we don't want to lose that value of the marker, we put it in a temp variable just to keep it safe. Okay, and then we're going to take this marker and we're going to be comparing the marker A with the items in the sorted section, and then we're going to start with the highest number with the first item to the left of the marker, and we're going to be asking, hey guy, are you bigger than me? Bigger or equal than me? If it's bigger or equal than me, then I'm gonna shift this item to the right. So I delete the item and I move it to the right. There we go. So let's take a look at the coding here. So we do the comparison. Hey, this is my marker because we put in temp A. Are you bigger or equal than me? And because in is where the marker was, in -1, I'm moving to the first item in the sorted section, which is to the left. So that's why it's -1. So I'm comparing these values. That's a while loop. So it's going to be asking to the guys on the left, which are sorted. Hey, are you bigger than me? If they're bigger, they start shifting to the right. And when I find a number that is smaller than me, hey, are you bigger or equal than me? And because it's not, then all these items were moved to the right, shifted to the right. Then I found a place for my marker right there. So let me go back in here. So we were asking, hey, are you bigger or equal than me? Okay, If they're not, then we're gonna move those items, we're gonna shift them to the right. So this is the item on the left that we were comparing, and then in it's bigger than this guy right there. It's one item to the right. Then I'm taking this number and I'm shifting this number to the right, okay, because this is 1 and this is a number minus 1, so it's moving to the right. And then we keep on asking, so we move to the left. So we already asked the first guy in the line that is sorted, the last guy, and then we decrease, we go to the left, so we decrease 1. If there's a guy that doesn't meet this criteria, that is not bigger the marker, then this piece of code is not gonna run. That means that I found a place to put the marker. So nums in is gonna equal tmp. Now you would ask, okay, that's fine, but what's this thing in there? You didn't mention that. Okay, so this section right here is to make sure that we don't get an index out of bound exceptions, because this is shifting to the left, so the value of in is decreasing. So we don't want to cause an index out of bounds exception, because we're accessing in minus 1. So if it's not greater than 0, so let's say that in is 0, and then I try to access 0 minus 1, so I'm trying to access a item in the array that is minus 1. Why? Because if in is 0 and I'm trying to use this value, which is 0 minus 1, it's gonna be out of bounds of the array. So let me just show you that. So that's just to avoid the index out of bound exceptions. I'm gonna run this code, and this should break the it should give us an exception. Let's see. There we go, we got an array index out of bounds exception. Why? Because we're trying to access a item in the array that is lesser than 0. Okay, so that's why we have that check in there, so we don't get a array index out of bound exceptions. Okay guys, well, that's about it. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions or you want to leave any comments, please do so. Next time I might be doing selection sort. I'm not really sure. Don't forget to give it a like if you liked the video. That will help us a lot. Okay guys, well, thank you. See you next time.